so much for being on the show. We really appreciate you being here. And so tell us, what's the work that the Amara Center does?
Sure. So we are located in the DC metro area, and our organization is dedicated to providing direct legal services to domestic victims of sex trafficking. So a lot of times when we talk about sex trafficking, we're thinking about international victims, and that is a huge issue, but at the same time, this is also happening in our own backyard, meaning that primarily young women are being bought and sold for sex on the internet and controlled by pimps right here in DC, and actually in every city in the United States as well. So and our goal, yes.
So Stacie, tell me, before you get into the goals of the program, like what type of numbers are we talking about here? Are we talking about 1, 10, 15, 20, hundreds, thousands in the district, in the metropolitan area across the country?
That's a great question. So I've been working with an organization up in Baltimore, and in 2012 they served 125 individual clients in Baltimore City alone. And I've also been in contact with the organizations here in DC. One of the bigger ones has served 300 clients in 2012. And so I'm estimating that there's about 500 clients served a year in the DC metro area.
Wow. 500 clients served in D.C., and those are the ones that have been able to sort of break free from the bondage of you know, sex trafficking and breaking free from their pimp. So these are just the ones that have been able to get out.
Yes, those are the ones that have been identified. And the way that they're identified usually is they're arrested or they become pregnant and they are referred to social services. But primarily all of the, and they're primarily girls, 95% girls, have been referred to the social services agencies because they are arrested for either prostitution or a prostitution-related offense, such as truancy, curfew violation, loitering for the minors. So, and that is how they're identified.
So, I mean, clearly, you know, as these women are sort of dealing with transition, you guys are part of the process to sort of, you're part of the helping them get through the legality. And what are some of those things? Exactly. I mean, what are some of the functions of how do you help, you know, these domestic sex trafficked women and men and transgendered folk get through this, get through this?
Yes, and I do want to point out that it is a huge problem in the transgender community, as well as with men and boys. It's not just a women's issue. However, the survivors are primarily women. And so right now, as we're starting out, we're going to focus on 4 legal services. First is expungement of records. Almost every client that I've worked with has had an arrest record. A lot of them, after they turn 18, are charged with prostitution, but they also have other related charges such as drug possession, and loitering, truancy, the ones I've mentioned earlier. A lot of these are not convictions, and so it's actually somewhat easy to do an expungement of records so that they don't show up, it doesn't show up on their record anymore, but they need a lawyer's help to actually fill out the paperwork, turn it into the judge, and also an advocate to make sure that this process happens, because it takes about 90 days.
Wow.
And yeah, and then and when you do get the expungement of records, that means that this doesn't show up on their criminal history anymore, and it makes it a lot easier for them to apply for jobs and basically move on with their life.
Gotcha. Now, what other legal services do you guys provide?
Sure. So the next one is public benefits. Everything else relates to the arrest of the survivor. So a lot of times with public benefits, they'll lose housing, they'll lose medical care. And because they do have a criminal record, and so there's certain benefits that they're not able to receive, and so we want to work with them on getting those benefits back, advocating for them as a victim, and arguing that they should have never lost those benefits in the first place.
Now, how can I mean? I think this is one of those issues where these are one of those unforgotten issues. It's not the sexiest issue in politics. It's not the issue that, you know, all the news networks are covering. It just sort of is an issue that's happening, and it's an alarming one, but nobody's talking about it.
Exactly. Yeah, so no one is talking about it right now. People have heard about the international traffickings, which happen a lot through Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe. They're trafficked throughout the world. A lot of them are here in our DC area. And I can't actually tell you that No one's talking about it. We just had the Stop Modern Slavery Walk this last weekend with a lot of people showing up to support the movement here in D.C., and there are multiple organizations in the D.C. area focusing on domestic work. The thing that's different about the Amara Legal Center is we're the only organization in D.C. providing direct legal services for victims that are civilly related. So meaning that at this point in time, we're not representing them in criminal cases, but we are looking at other ways to help them through the civil legal system. And so we're absolutely unique in D.C. We're the first organization of its kind.
And it's some powerful stuff, because I think a lot of people out there in the listening audience don't understand that this is it's beyond just, okay, so you've been arrested for prostitution and you need to go to court, but it's also about other things like, custody of your child from, the Children and Family Services, getting a protection order from your, from your pimp, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. I was working with some clients yesterday. One of the clients absolutely needs a protection order from her pimp, and I would like to help her do that. However, it's more tricky than just going to court and getting a protection order or a restraining order, because he has a large network of people that he's working with, and he could definitely retaliate against her. He knows where she lives, and she's not part of the witness protection program through the FBI. This is all at the state level. And so that's why we really need social workers involved in our work to help with safety planning and then taking the legal actions that we can take to ensure that she's safe, but at the same time make sure that we're not actually putting her in danger of retaliation from the pimp. And also custody, you brought up, as another issue. I've had a client who has a couple children, but the pimp's mother actually has custody of the child, not herself. And this is not uncommon. I've run into other situations like this where the pimp will have the kids and then the pimp's mom watches the kids. And she's absolutely not allowed to see her kids because she has an arrest for prostitution on her record.
So let's reverse that for a second, because that was sort of...
It's mind-blowing.
No, it definitely is mind-blowing. So you're saying there's situations where a sex-trafficked female has a child, right? And she has an arrest record, so the state gives the custody of the child to the pimp's mother?
Well, it may not be an actual state custody order. It might be informal, whereas, the kids are taken away from her, and then it's possibly a temporary custody agreement with this person that she knows happens to be the pimp's mother. And why the thing that we would want to do is go in and do a permanent custody agreement, arguing that this person is a victim of trafficking, is a fit mother, proving herself in that manner. So as far as a long-term custody agreement where she's not allowed to see the kids ever again, I've never heard of one of those, but I've definitely heard of these emergency temporary proceedings.
So, Stacie, where can people find out more information about the Amara Legal Center? And we have about 3 seconds left before we go to break.
Oh, great. Okay, amaralegal.org, AMARALEGAL.org. And if you go there, we're going to have a fundraiser on October 22nd at Penn Social, so we'd love for you guys to come. You can find the link there for tickets.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll be right back on the Fowler Show after this break.